So in 2019, we see that video games have become a mainstay in our media today. Because of this, we see that FPS shooters like Call of Duty, Halo, Destiny, CSGO, and even TF2 have become sports-like. But none of these games would be the way they are without the rise and influence of games like Doom, Duke Nukem, and so on. Doom was one of the first games that was able to make 3D environments, but at the time, this was seen to be impossible. But somehow the company of id Software was able to make this possible. In 1993, the first copy of Doom was released. This game was considered to be the Fortnite of 1993 because it was such a popular and addictive game. People thought that Doom was the realest game that was going to ever be created in this century, really. But with all of the high praises that the original Doom got, there was a lot of negativity towards it. A lot of school shootings, even back then, or even now, happened back then. And people blamed Doom because they believed that it was super realistic. Because of this, the company of id Software got flagged for creating such a violent game and believed that Doom was the reason why all the kids back then are now evil. Because of this, id tried to make sure that Doom wasn't as bad as everyone was saying it was. But they could not undo the damage that they've already created. Because of this, Doom was spread across all of the United States in companies, schools, anywhere. Eventually, companies had to create things called anti-Doom software, where they had to create actual programs to stop their employees from playing Doom because Doom was just taking up all of their work time. Because of this, big companies wanted to buy id to make their products sell more. Companies like Microsoft were really invested in this, because at the time, Microsoft was trying to push their Windows 95 out there. Well, after seeing how popular Doom was, Microsoft decided to make a deal with id, saying that they would port Doom onto their Windows 95 and share half the profits. Doom 95 was then created, but it did not receive the same shares that Microsoft promised at the time. To retaliate, id Software created Doom 2. They wanted it to be the sequel and to be better than Doom was before. Doom 2 was then given a Nintendo release called Doom 64. Doom 64 was only on the Nintendo 64 at the time, which gave id a lot more money than they possibly could have asked for. Still believing that they could fix the problems they did, they tried to show that Doom wasn't as bad as a game as everyone was saying it was. But eventually, the hype for Doom started to die out, and id knew this. So they created Doom 3 in 2004. Now, Doom 3 was a weird game because they took away their running and gunning type of formula and created this 3D kind of like Silent Hill type of game where they had dark areas and you needed to always carry a flashlight when killing monsters. Eventually, the hype for Doom became so big that they decided to make their own movie. And in 2005, Doom was created. They had guest characters like The Rock in it, but we don't like to talk about that. Neither does The Rock, sadly. But eventually, id realized that they wanted to make something that would really spike people's interest in Doom. So in 2004, they began work on their new game called Doom 4. After 6 years in development, the team realized that their game wasn't going anywhere. Eventually, the original founder of id Software left to pursue VR experiments and VR projects. With the game's creator leaving and the new staff not knowing what to do, they decided to throw all of the old out and try something new. This new Doom game that they were making took 12 years to produce, and they considered this to be a development hell among people, because this game was stuck in this long development cycle that people thought that it would never come out. But on May 13th, 2016, which was also Friday the 13th, surprisingly, Doom 2016 came out. Once the game was out, people's love for Doom was rekindled by this game, because Doom not only threw in a lot of new stuff, but they also paid tribute to the old and the classic. Because of this, Doom 2016 was considered one of the best games that came out of 2016. If it wasn't for the hard work and dedication that id Software had for the beginning of this game to the very end, a lot of FPSs wouldn't be where they are today. And because of this, I believe that Doom was one of the founding games that created the FPS genre.